I'm a senior lecturer at Liverpool Hope University. My academic background is on online journalism, media history, media industry, and also media theory and communication. I have an interest in looking at how local journalism is responding to digital developments and looking at the position of legacy local newspaper publishers as they try to survive in the current publishing environment, and also how they try to preserve local journalism going forward. My article, broadly speaking, is looking at the media merger framework for local newspapers in Ireland's media market. In the early 2000s, a lot of local newspapers began to be bought up by larger media groups, often for very significant, sometimes arguably inflated prices. And it did mean that there was quite a boom in the sale of local newspapers. One of the consequences of that is that once we got to about 2008, when Ireland experienced a financial crash, we had a situation where circulations and advertising revenue for local newspapers were declining at a time when those newspapers were trying to carry and service the large debts that had often been used in order to acquire them in the first place. So we have seen a radical transformation in Ireland's local newspaper industry over the last couple of decades. And since Ireland's financial crash, really we've kind of seen an acceleration of the consolidation strategy by which local newspapers have been trying to come together in order to survive and remain commercially viable. However, these consolidation strategies have sometimes come at the expense of news provision, making it more difficult for local journalists in order to report on matters of community interest and community importance. What inspired my research was really recognizing the value of local media and of local journalism. So often when we're talking about the media in national debates or even within academic research, very often local and community media is overlooked. And one of the difficulties that has arisen from them, for them, within the digital economy is that it's becoming harder and harder for local publishers to sustain their businesses and to serve local communities with good quality local journalism. And I think if local news is lost, it's going to be to the significant detriment of local communities. And I think if local journalistic networks and companies and publishers are allowed to wither away, it will have not only a significant impact on local communities, but it will be very, very hard to rebuild them or to replace them. And there is an argument that social media has kind of stepped into the breach in terms of local community news and updates. But a lot of social media content hasn't been produced through professional journalistic values, and also there's questions about the reliability, the authenticity of an awful lot of that information. So I think what inspired the research was really a concern about the future of quality, public good, professional local journalism and impacts it would have on local communities if that is lost. The process of writing the article was first of all to identify a significant gap in the research, something that hadn't been looked at before. So one of the things that appealed to me about this was trying to look at a way that the merger framework for local newspapers can maybe be reconsidered or reevaluated to place less of a stress on local news as a business and more of an emphasis on local news as a public good in place for the importance of local communities. So really I'm hoping that the impact of the article will be to begin a conversation about how we can perhaps move to a different model that will more reliably sustain, fund and protect local journalism going into the future.